Hey everybody, thanks for listening to the Safe and Vault Store Podcast. I am Scott High. I'm here today with Brian Morgan. He's a security consultant for Allied Fire and Security. And we're going to talk a little bit today about home security systems. So Brian, why don't you introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background about your experience here?
Well, I've been with Allied Fire and Security for a little over 15 years now, and during that tenure I've concentrated on the home, large home, and small commercial markets.
So you would say that you've pretty much seen it all, right?
That every once in a while I get a curveball thrown at me, but most of the crime in our area is pretty predictable.
So I'm assuming that most of our viewers and listeners want to know what consists of a home security system. So could you define a home security system and its components?
A home security system or burglar alarm will always consist of a few key components. You have a control panel that controls all the operations, a keypad which allows users to arm, disarm, and control the system, and then peripheral devices. Peripheral devices are what we put in doors, windows, inside, outside the home to detect a burglar activity.
How effective are those peripheral devices?
If put in properly, they can be very effective. You always start with a good perimeter. Everybody will recommend good locks, sticks in your windows, making sure shrubbery is nice and clear away from them. That physical security component is very important. And then electronic security, which is what we specialize in, has to do with putting sensors on doors to detect when they're opening, censoring windows to detect whether they're opened or broken, motion detection on the inside should a burglar gain entry. They don't have free run of the whole house. And we also do some environmental protection such as smoke and heat detectors, freezing temperatures, carbon monoxide, water. It's a pretty long list.
If I'm a homeowner and I have a system, am I able to save money on my homeowner's insurance, or is that depending?
It depends on your insurer. We've seen discounts up to 20%. A lot of that will have to do with if it's your primary residence, if it's a secondary residence. If you live in cold environments and do travel during the winter, they're going to require environmental monitoring such as smoke detection and temperature monitoring. A good security system can protect you from a lot of things, not just burglary, but fire and environmental stuff as well.
Could you explain a little bit about the monitoring? What is it for, and who does the monitoring? Does Allied do the monitoring, or is it elsewhere?
At Allied Security, we use a partner company, so we are very hands-on with regards to the monitoring service. A good UL-listed station will always be, if it's in your geographical area, will always have a backup outside of that geographical area should a natural disaster occur. And monitoring is really the key to a good quality security system. They certainly make them, alarms that just make noise and hopefully scare the burglar away. But it doesn't take much for them to leave and not go very far. And when nobody ever does respond to that alarm, that's when the real trouble can occur. Monitoring can alert the homeowner. They can alert the police department or fire department to know what's going on in the home, and that could save you from a potential clean-out burglary or even the house burning down.
So in your experience, it's essential to have that monitoring along with the system?
99% of the systems we install are monitored. There are the occasion where it's just an outbuilding on property and they just want some notification if activity occurs. But 99% of the time, a good monitored burglar alarm is what people choose.
If I'm getting a system, should I include security cameras, or is it necessary?
Security cameras aren't necessary, but they are a hot topic nowadays. They do give you a little more information with regards to an occurrence that has happened. They can be programmed as simply as sending you an email or a text message when something's occurring in front of them. If you have them pointed at a real busy location, though, that can cause a lot of messages. So having them in use with an alarm system will allow you to only get alerts when the alarm is active. Being able to see if it's a false alarm or not is important, although a good home security system should not give you false alarms very often. A traditional camera system will allow recording, and that's where you can get some good hard evidence if a crime occurred.
So they are effective in helping the authorities basically catch the burglar more so then, or does it really matter?
Typically, the authorities will take a copy of video, should you be able to provide that in an attempt to prosecute. But you do need some court admissible evidence that's watermarked, and that is if they can catch the burglar. If you've got a good shot of their face, that will help them.
Could you please describe for our listeners, what exactly am I getting when I come into Allied to buy a security system? Am I buying just the system or the monitoring or both?
Most people opt for both. Now, with Allied, you're not only just buying an alarm system, but we take pride in doing things right and really giving you some good information so you can make an informed decision on how to best protect your family and home. With us, it's not just about selling parts and moving on to the next one. We really want to answer all your questions, make sure it's the right fit. It doesn't matter how cheap an alarm system is. If you don't use it, it's pretty worthless. So we want to make sure we set our customers up for success.
Of course, I can go into a place like Home Depot and buy, my own security cameras or maybe a do-it-yourself system, but is that recommended? I mean, I would be doing it wrong, I'm sure, installing it wrong. Could you give a little bit of advice on somebody seeking out that option?
I've talked with many people that have tried to do it on their own, and there are systems out there designed to do that. Some people that are comfortable with it, it might work just fine. To me, my family's protection and my home's protection, I'm not going to leave in the hands of an amateur. I want that professionally done, and it's not much more expensive to have it professionally done.
Well, I want to thank you very much for your time and expertise into the realm of home security systems. And if you have anything else, thanks for everything, Brian.
I appreciate it, Scott. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. I want to thank you for listening to the third installment of the Safe and Vault Store podcast. If you'd like more information, please check us out online at www.safeandvaultstore.com. You can also find other information regarding home security systems and safes and all of the security expertise. Thanks for listening.